It all started, like many modern disasters, on Twitter. Anisa Jomha, best known as the wife of YouTuber iDubbbz, had a message for the internet, and she wasn't holding back. She tweeted, quote, "It's okay to find me attractive and still hate me. I know it's confusing for some of you. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone." The post came with a photo of Anisa posing confidently, but instead of admiration, it triggered a wave of sarcastic replies and brutal memes. One user responded with a screenshot of an older tweet Anisa had made toward Ethan Klein, simply saying, "drugs," which many interpreted as her mocking Ethan's Tourette's syndrome. That accusation had surfaced before, but it hit differently this time, now that she was back in the spotlight. Another viral reply featured iDubbbz looking completely spaced out, eyes glazed, expression empty. Some commenters joked that he looked lobotomized. Others said it was just his new personality under Anisa's influence. And this wasn't the first time Anisa had taken aim at the commentary community. Just a few months earlier, she accused YouTubers of not knowing what it's like to work a real job. That statement didn't go over well, especially coming from someone whose career is built on adult content. Soon, Ethan Klein entered the picture. He quote-tweeted Anisa's original post and sarcastically repeated her line, this time paired with a haunting photo of himself looking disturbed. The meme took off. It quickly became a Twitter copy pasta. But Anisa wasn't done. She responded to Ethan again, this time accusing him of something extreme. She tweeted, quote, "Ethan's actually starting to really creep me out at this point." Yes, a meme response was somehow now creepy. Then things escalated. She accused Ethan of being on the full alt-right incel pipeline. For context, Ethan Klein is married, has 3 children, and is publicly left-leaning. Accusing him of being an alt-right incel? It was either trolling or complete delusion. Either way, it didn't land. Ethan wasn't about to take that accusation lying down. He responded with a sharp message on Twitter, calling out Anisa's hypocrisy. He reminded her that she had previously mocked his Tourette's with the drugs comment, and now she was pretending to be a victim. He tweeted, "Oh yeah, I forgot. My favorite drugs. Literally F***. And you know me in real life. You know I have Tourette's. And you're still willing to take such a low blow? You're a terrible person. Countless perpetual failure." Then came the bombshell. Ethan added, "Be honest. The content cop was your idea. Ian didn't even know what Zionism was 3 days before posting the video." I'm not joking. I've seen the conversation. This was a direct hit. Ethan was claiming that the infamous video from iDubbbz, which had reignited tensions in the community, was actually masterminded by Anisa. Not only that, but iDubbbz allegedly didn't even understand the context of what he was talking about before the upload, and it didn't stop there. Ethan then posted an old group photo of Anisa, iDubbbz, Hassan and himself. Except now the others were flipping her off. He added the caption, "Is this before or after you accuse your Jewish friend of hallucinating anti-Semitism?" This referred to an Instagram post Anisa had made earlier that day, warning against anti-Semitic rhetoric and urging followers to stay educated. Ethan called out the hypocrisy, saying it was ironic for someone who had dismissed his concerns about anti-Semitism to now post performative solidarity. Anisa's response? Another tweet mocking Ethan's behavior, calling it manic and desperate, and once again accusing him of being on drugs. She even wrote, "Your tics have nothing to do with it." It was clear to many that she was again referencing Ethan's Tourette's, and not in a sympathetic way. This from someone who, at least publicly, claims to support empathy and kindness. Someone married to a creator who has rebranded himself around personal growth and self-awareness. But Anisa wasn't backing down. She posted again, this time bragging. Ian was too nice in his content cop. Trust me, if I was pulling the strings, it would have looked a lot different. No mercy for creepy, misogynistic losers who can't handle criticism. she managed to pack in every buzzword. Creepy, misogynistic losers. The internet wasn't impressed, and many remembered that in past interviews, Anisa herself admitted to encouraging Ian's edgy behavior, even back in the early content cop days. She once claimed she was the one who pushed him to confront creators like Tana Mongeau, and even supported his use of slurs at the time. Now she was claiming to be the moral compass, the voice of reason. It didn't add up. She followed it up with another emotional tweet. "I love my husband. The best thing about him is his constant desire to create a fair and balanced world." Fair and balanced. The same week, iDubbbz uploaded one of the most divisive videos of his career. A video many accused of being one-sided, bitter, and rooted in personal grudges. But Anisa doubled down. She wrote, "I appreciate why he did what he did. It's just a lot less funny now. I don't have that much room for understanding when someone's clearly doing so much damage." So to recap, she helped shape the content cop, but now blames others for the fallout. She mocks Ethan for a medical condition, then accuses him of being creepy. She claims to fight for balance, while starting fights online. And yes, she's still doing OnlyFans, which remains the single biggest reason why people criticize iDubbbz today. Even the fans are starting to connect the dots. One reply summed it up best. "I think more incels subscribe to Anisa's OnlyFans than watch the Astro podcast." Ouch. As Anisa's feud with Ethan Klein unfolded, it started pulling in names that weren't even directly involved. One of them was Hassan, the political streamer and longtime friend of Ethan. In the now infamous group photo Ethan reposted, with Anisa, iDubbbz, Hassan, and himself, fans started to ask questions. Why had Hassan distanced himself from Anisa and iDubbbz? It turns out, the drama had been building behind the scenes for months. After the second Creator Clash event, the influencer boxing tournament co-founded by Anisa and iDubbbz, multiple fighters came forward with complaints. Among them were Froggy Fresh, iDubbbz's former friend, Dad, also known as Nathan Barnett, and even Michael Reeves, a close associate of the offline TV crew. The pattern was simple. Fighters would join the card, promote the event, and then get ghosted or blacklisted for petty reasons. Froggy Fresh's removal from the second Creator Clash caused public outrage, and fans quickly blamed Anisa. Even though iDubbbz took responsibility on camera, viewers pointed to older livestream clips where Anisa referred to the fighters as "our boxers," implying she was involved in the decision-making. Her public posts also supported Froggy's removal, suggesting it was about creating a safe space. That alone triggered backlash. The idea that a boxing match needed to be a safe space felt absurd to many fans, especially in a sport where the whole point is to punch each other in the face. Even more revealing was when Anisa allegedly told one fighter that his online behavior made sponsors uncomfortable, though no sponsors ever confirmed this. When Froggy tried to ask for clarification, he was blocked. Then came the money issue. Several fighters, including Dad, publicly stated that they either weren't paid on time or had to chase down their agreed-upon compensation. Creator Clash, too, made money. But exactly how much went to the fighters? That remains a mystery. And Anisa's role in all of this was never clearly explained. She wasn't a fighter, and she wasn't a promoter in the traditional sense. But according to her own posts, she was involved in logistics, planning, and even which fighters stayed on the card. Hassan, who was loosely affiliated with the event, eventually stopped mentioning Creator Clash altogether. Some fans speculated that the behind-the-scenes mess was too much for even him to support. When asked about Anisa on stream, Hassan deflected, saying he wasn't getting into that. That silence said more than words. Meanwhile, Ethan Klein began getting messages from people close to the situation. On his podcast, he hinted that multiple creators were starting to speak up privately, even if they were scared to go public. One anonymous message read, "Ethan, you're not crazy. A lot of us have dealt with the same thing from Anisa and Ian, but nobody wants to say it first. Then came the upload that changed everything, the return of Content Cop. In this long-awaited comeback, iDubbbz, or Ian by his real name, aimed his sights on Sam Hyde, the controversial internet figure who had been trolling him for over a year. It wasn't just a comedy video. It was a direct takedown. A 50-minute documentary style ran explaining how Sam Hyde was manipulative, dishonest, and dangerous. Ian revealed private text messages, described emotional breakdowns, and detailed how Sam had tried to wedge himself into the YouTube boxing scene. But there was a problem. Viewers quickly noticed that the video felt off. Instead of the satirical, high-energy breakdowns that made Content Cop iconic, this version came across like a bitter essay. No jokes, no punchlines, just pure moral lecturing. Some fans defended Ian. They said he was finally being real, confronting toxic internet figures, and standing up for what he believed in. But others felt something deeper was going wrong. They pointed out that Anisa had been posting eerily similar criticisms of Sam Hyde long before Ian's video dropped, and that many of the phrases used in the Content Cop video had previously appeared in Anisa's tweets and live streams. One example: both Anisa and Ian accused Sam of being a parasite on the YouTube ecosystem, word for word. And remember, Klein had already claimed that the entire video idea may have come from Anisa, not Ian. He even alleged that Ian had to Google what Zionism meant before filming one of the core arguments in the video. If true, it raised a difficult question. Was this really Ian's voice, or was he just reading from a script Anisa helped write? Even casual fans started noticing the shift. One Reddit thread titled, "This isn't the Ian I grew up watching," gained over 10,000 upvotes. Another said, "Ian looks like he's trying to convince himself, not us." And then came the subscriber drop. Within days of posting the Content Cop return, iDubbbz lost tens of thousands of subscribers. His viewership also dipped, not catastrophically, but enough to signal a major shift. Ironically, Sam Hyde gained followers during the same period. The timing couldn't have been worse for Anisa. Just as Ian's credibility was taking a hit, she went on another Twitter spree, defending her husband and attacking critics with increasingly aggressive language. She tweeted, "YouTubers who don't fight in real life think they can talk ** about my husband. You're all cowards." The replies were brutal. One user posted a side-by-side of Sam Hyde training in a boxing ring while Ian looked exhausted on a treadmill. Another wrote, "Anisa's gonna tweet Ian into an early retirement." At that point, it wasn't just memes. It was a collapse of a once revered legacy, and much of the blame was being pointed directly at her. As the controversy deepened, something became impossible to ignore. Ian was almost completely silent. While Anisa tweeted daily defending him, promoting projects, and clapping back at critics, Ian, the once outspoken iDubbbz, rarely posted anything himself. He didn't stream. He didn't respond to backlash. He barely even appeared in his own content anymore unless it was pre-recorded. To fans who had followed him since the Content Cop golden days, it felt like watching someone disappear in real time. This led to one of the most uncomfortable conversations in the commentary community. Was Ian okay? Creators like Some Ordinary Gamers and Turkey Tom, who had previously respected iDubbbz, started to wonder if the changes weren't just creative choices, but signs of something deeper. Some pointed to Ian's body language in recent videos. In clips from 2023 and 2024, he looked thinner, quieter, and far less animated than before. His delivery felt rehearsed. His tone was flat. The running joke online became, "Blink twice if Anisa is making you do this." But jokes aside, concern was growing. One fan reposted a 2016 interview where Ian said, "If I ever stop calling out people because I'm scared of hurting their feelings, that means I've sold out." They followed it with a side-by-side of Ian saying in 2024, "We shouldn't make content that's mean-spirited anymore. It's about kindness. The shift was so sharp it didn't feel like growth. It felt like a rewrite. Critics began accusing Anisa of softening Ian's brand. They argued she was filtering his voice through her own lens, turning an edgy, self-aware creator into a morality YouTuber. And the worst part, Ian wasn't correcting them. In fact, many of the videos now posted to the iDubbbz channel no longer even had him in the title or thumbnail. He had become a ghost on his own platform. For longtime fans, this wasn't just about drama. It was about watching the erosion of a voice they once trusted, and wondering if that silence was voluntary or coerced. By mid-2024, the ripple effects were hitting the broader creator landscape. iDubbbz and Anisa, once admired as a power couple of YouTube, were now seen as cautionary tales. Fellow creators stopped reaching out. Podcast invites slowed. Collaborations dried up. It was a silent blacklist. No official bans, but a clear social distancing. Even Ethan Klein, one of the last public defenders of Ian, began quietly stepping back. His comments on the H3 podcast grew colder. In one episode, when the topic of creator clash came up, Ethan said, "Yeah, it's not something I really follow anymore." Then came the Hassan fallout, subtle but telling. During a live stream, Hassan was asked if he would ever work with Ian again. His answer, "Probably not. I don't think we align anymore." He didn't elaborate. He didn't need to. That one sentence confirmed what fans had long suspected. Many creators had lost faith in iDubbbz, or at least the version of him that now existed. Meanwhile, Anisa continued to defend their decisions. She insisted the backlash was coming from misogynistic trolls and man-children who missed the edgy days. In one tweet, she wrote, "Ian has grown. He's not a 2016 meme lord anymore. Sorry that upsets you." But the numbers told a different story. Views were dropping. Subscriptions were stagnant. Even their Patreon, once a major source of income, saw a steady decline. And yet, rather than change course or address the concerns directly, the couple doubled down. Ian began producing short documentaries, not about creators, but about personal growth, self-reflection, and masculinity, topics that aligned with Anisa's publicly stated values. But the tone felt off. These weren't the critical, investigative videos Ian once excelled at. They were soft-spoken monologues about how he used to be toxic and how he was now healing. To some, it felt genuine. To others, it felt like a script. YouTube veteran Pyrocynical summed it up best in one of his videos. "It's not that Ian changed. It's that he changed for someone else, not for himself." At that point, even critics weren't sure whether to be angry or sad, because behind all the internet beef, boxing drama, and influencer politics was a deeper story: the disappearance of iDubbbz, and the rise of a version that very few people recognized. In late 2024, iDubbbz tried something bold. He launched a new video series documentary-style pieces, focusing on themes like shame, growth, masculinity, and vulnerability. It was clear this wasn't the old iDubbbz. The titles weren't clickbait. The tone was soft, thoughtful, even therapeutic. The problem? No one was watching. These were not the kinds of videos that built iDubbbz brand in the first place. His early success came from his sharp commentary, his fearless takedowns, and his ability to stand alone in a space full of fake positivity. Now, he was talking about inner peace and emotional intelligence. Viewers didn't know what to make of it. One upload titled, "I Was the Villain," featured Ian walking alone in nature, reflecting on past controversies like Leafy, Ricegum, and Tana Monjo. He said he regretted making fun of people's appearances and participating in mean content. He wanted to build, not destroy. The problem wasn't that he had grown. It was that the change came too fast, too hard, and too scripted. People questioned whether these thoughts were even his. The editing style looked like Anisa's. The background music, the minimalism, the pacing, it all screamed of a production voice that wasn't Ian's own. The video flopped. Comment sections were filled with confusion and sadness. "This isn't iDubbbz. I don't recognize this man. I miss the real you." On Reddit, fans broke down the structure of the videos and pointed out how similar they were to Anisa's earlier self-help streams. They weren't calling Ian fake, they were asking if he was being pushed into content that didn't reflect who he really was. Worse still, his uploads became irregular. Some fans even wondered if Ian was quietly stepping away from YouTube altogether. And while Anisa continued tweeting confidently, it became clear that their channel's golden era was long gone. What remained was a question that no documentary could answer. Was this evolution or erasure? At the same time, Ian's biggest public project, Creator Clash, was collapsing behind the scenes. When Creator Clash 3 was announced, it lacked the excitement of the first two events. Many top influencers declined to participate. Some cited scheduling conflicts, but others privately said they just didn't want to work with Ian and Anisa anymore. Backstage, the tension was real. Several creators came forward with complaints. Froggy Fresh was the most public, but others followed. They claimed poor communication, uneven treatment, and strange management decisions made the experience unpleasant. An anonymous YouTuber, quoted in an insider report, said, "The whole thing felt controlled by Anisa. If she didn't like you, you were out." That same report noted that some fighters received drastically different payouts, and that the event was allegedly run more like a vanity project than a real promotion. Worse, the numbers weren't good. Pay-per-view sales for Creator Clash 3 were way down from the previous year. Merch didn't move. Even the live stream had technical issues that left fans frustrated. The final nail in the coffin came when Ian announced they were stepping away from Creator Clash for the foreseeable future. He didn't offer details. He didn't appear on camera. The statement was released through a tweet from the official Creator Clash account written, many assumed, by Anisa. It was over. The event that once stood as a symbol of Ian's reinvention, a way to prove he could build something positive, had crumbled. And with it went the last major public-facing project Ian had. Now, iDubbbz was a name without a platform, a creator without a core audience, a voice that used to shake the internet now barely caused a ripple. Even longtime allies began stepping away. Podcasts stopped mentioning him. Fan pages went inactive. And with no videos, no tweets, and no presence, iDubbbz was becoming a memory. The internet didn't cancel him. It just moved on. While iDubbbz was fading quietly into the background, the people around him were getting louder and messier. Anisa Jomha, now known as Anisa the Gracie on social media, began a full-blown feud with Ethan Klein from the H3 podcast. The drama exploded after Ethan criticized her and Ian for their tone-deaf statements during a time of increased tension surrounding anti-Semitism and online extremism. Anisa responded by posting, "It's okay to find me attractive and still hate me. I know it's confusing for some of you. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone." It was a smug, taunting tweet clearly aimed at Ethan and the commentary crowd. Ethan, never one to back down, posted a meme with her face and captioned it using her exact words. Soon, that phrase became copy pasta. Twitter threads flooded with edits mocking her tone. Anisa retaliated by calling Ethan a full alt-right incel, despite him being a left-leaning father of 3 married to Klein, an Israeli woman. The irony didn't go unnoticed. Ethan clapped back with screenshots, references to past comments Anisa made, and a brutal tweet. "Is this before or after you accuse your Jewish friend of hallucinating anti-Semitism?" It wasn't just drama anymore. This was getting deeply personal. In parallel, Hassan, who had once been an ally to Ian and Anisa, was locked in his own endless feud with Asmongold, the gaming streamer. Hassan took things nuclear by calling Asmongold Nazi Gold during a live stream. Critics said he was throwing around buzzwords like grenades labeling anyone who disagreed with him as dangerous or alt-right. Even fans of Hassan began questioning the rhetoric. Online, it felt like these creators were all falling into a bizarre trap of their own making. Everyone was accusing everyone of being part of the alt-right pipeline. The term had lost meaning. What had started as a serious conversation about online radicalization was now just a Twitter insult used in petty drama. Anisa kept tweeting, Hassan kept arguing, Ethan kept responding, and Ian stayed silent. As of now, iDubbbz, the once untouchable king of YouTube takedowns, is practically missing in action. His last major content? A scattered mix of underperforming documentaries, a failed creator clash, and a Twitter account that's gone dark. His silence speaks volumes. He hasn't addressed Anisa's recent meltdowns. He hasn't spoken up about Ethan. And despite being at the center of some of the year's loudest online controversies, he's nowhere to be found. And maybe that's the most revealing part of all, because this isn't just a story about a YouTuber who changed. It's about a community that watched a sharp, independent voice dissolve into managed PR statements and empty buzzwords. It's about what happens when a creator's identity becomes entangled in someone else's vision, when the thing that made them powerful gets buried under layers of rebranding, posturing, and awkward activism. Anisa is still posting. Hassan is still streaming. Ethan is still fighting. But Ian, he's still missing. And maybe, just maybe, the real content cop is out there, somewhere, watching all of this unfold, wondering if he'll ever get the courage to log back in. And that's where we're at for now. A social media meltdown, accusations of ableism, incel pipelines, and the ongoing war of words between creators who, not long ago, shared platforms and podcasts. The Hassan group Saga has snowballed into something bigger than any of them could have predicted. A bizarre cocktail of Twitter theatrics, moral superiority battles, and burned bridges that may never be rebuilt. Anisa Jomha doubling down. Ethan Klein fighting fire with fire. Ian, once the king of creator accountability, now caught between defending his wife and facing the wreckage of what used to be his reputation. And through it all, the irony is hard to ignore. The people who once called out the absurdity of YouTube drama are now generating it in real time, tweet by tweet. If nothing else, this whole saga has revealed just how thin the line is between personal values and public personas, between commentary and hypocrisy, between defending your beliefs and losing your grip on reality. Will things settle down? Will bridges be mended? Or is this just the new normal where everyone's either a villain, a victim, or the punchline of the day? Only time and Twitter will tell. This has been Mr. Stream. Stay smart, stay skeptical, and maybe log off once in a while.